All right, everybody. Welcome to another exciting day in the crypto world. Boy, oh boy, have we seen some action since we last did a video. Going to come on yesterday, but let's face it, it was a good day to be trading the markets and playing the market. So I come on today. I want to go over some stuff before the weekend hits, give everybody an idea of where we went and where we might be going next, break down some ideas. We are seeing alts get really wild right now. Okay, so the last video we did, obviously, we were looking at these these points breaking and how we were into this wedge here. And in the last video, we talked about the ideas with this wedge and the news that was happening. I was actually in a short on this idea. Obviously, once the steam wasn't there, we got out of that position that night before we went to bed. We started considering the ideas that we might see these top targets. Before I even woke up, we were into this area and we broke through and have been running ever since. Go Bitcoin, go. Now, the question is, does that keep happening over the weekend? Or do we see a pullback? Do we lose some steam here? We got to take it level for level. Obviously, I don't spend a lot of my time personally trading on the weekends. If you're into that kind of thing, just be smart and be safe with it. So right now, with Bitcoin, this morning in the group, I did share this idea here, this upper curve idea, and we did break down and we are retesting these levels, and right now we're failing. The 50 is way up above the 200, so maybe things can cool off. I mean, if we step out here, let's just get rid of this chart altogether. I don't mind wiping this one. Just take a look and see. I mean, that's a pretty significant run. So we have to assume that we'll see our typical weekend action. We won't see anything exciting happen. There's a local pattern in here somewhere to watch for. Are watching this weekend. I'm going to say it looks a little something like this currently. Again, this does not mean that we always have to break down. It's just current trend. So far, Bitcoin has been currently breaking up from these. Would be the third one if it breaks up through. But what you're watching for is this area. As we pinch in this area, we'll either break up through quite quickly, we have been, or we're going to push down and we're going to see a lower level. And then we start testing levels and we take it down step by step. And obviously, right now, Market Cipher 15-minute, we're right around the time when typically you would hit the short button. But again, when there's a train moving the way Bitcoin is moving, might not be as confident to step in front of that. Bigger idea here. We might be looking at some type of a situation where we're looking to bounce somewhere. No getting all bearish on Bitcoin confirmed. No getting all bullish confirmed. Taking it pattern by pattern, right? Now, Ethereum, we were looking at Ethereum. We'll go back to the other chart. We were, okay, so yeah, same thing with Ethereum, right? We've got this flag. We're trending in this pattern, and then it just breaks out rapidly all the way to our, I mean, this is a pretty big time frame chart idea, but the idea, and I shared this live with everybody on social media a couple of weeks ago, and the idea was this big support resistance line. I mean, this hasn't broken in a long time. And so when we got to these levels, this is what we were looking at. Clearly, a lot of other people were paying attention to those very levels. Now, we did have this nice run up to a first, support resistance target area much faster than anticipated. So I'm still looking towards, the potential idea that these Ethereum consolidates a little bit is still possible. Until we break this level and start pushing up higher, we could still find ourselves ranging in this area for some time. So we have to take it level by level, right? We were looking at this pattern. We obviously had a bullish response to the idea, and now we have to wait for some more data. That was the first thing that I said to everybody in the trading group. Today is the day that we pay ourselves, not the day that we go shopping. No one should be shopping today. If you're not sitting here happy about your gains, today is not the day to buy. Maybe tomorrow when things cool off, it might look better, but no one should be waking up sad that they weren't a part of this and try to get into it. We were sharing these ideas in the group 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't want to overshare, but I want to share enough. We're looking at all of these things in the group. As bottom ideas, long drawn out patterns, breakout retesting. Again, the big picture is looking really good for alts. Even the small ideas that we're having down here are hopefully going to get more and more bullish until we see some type of a breakout, real altcoin move. Again, trading down here, much safer than trading up here any day of the week. So obviously people are willing to get into these positions down here and take easy money and take gains fast. Little tiny runs are 30%. Just, think about all the people that are waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, which is fine. You're playing a different game. But if you're trading, there's a lot of opportunity down here that isn't up here. So these are great for traders. All the way up until this trend breaks out. And well, it looks pretty tasty. Does it mean that this actually plays out? No. But these charts are looking incredible right now. You want to know more about these charts? If you're looking at this and this is just confusion and a whole bunch of lines that don't make sense, join at least the free Discord. Talk about stuff on Sundays and at least get you up to the point where you look at these charts and understand them. Because I really personally wouldn't throw a dollar into this market without having some pretty good reasoning behind. Virtue. We talked about this in the last video as well, and we were looking at this pattern, and here is a support. We did get the pullback to the idea, and we ran up to our next. Pretty spot on. Someone in the group is trading this. This is their trade baby right now. They're just continuously sharing all these awesome gains that they're making trading this coin. So good for them. You're paying attention and you're watching and you're using the strategies, it's going to pay out. If you're not paying attention and you're not using the strategies, well, you're going to pay the person that is. As far as the stock market goes today, I think last video we were looking at a few things. Still not seeing much out of this idea, but I'm certain that we will here very soon. So I most definitely still have my eyes on this. We will see what happens next week. This will be on my watch list big time next week. Lucid is still very much on the watch list right now. Benatar's actually moved a little bit. Like we've fallen out of this wedge idea. Could be bigger still. I mean, still very possible. I did just add a couple of these position. Pulls back and we're lucky enough, I'll buy more. But right now, I'm still pretty bullish. Or this stocks. We're watching for. I mean, if we really can push this level, we're looking at some price discovery action. Competitor not doing as hot today. Funny because I hold both of these, and only just recently has it become very relevant that R could definitely outperform. But we'll just have to see. Time will tell. Still in this wedge. Definitely say that this wedge is holding for now. All the way up until it doesn't. Yeah. See a nasty Monday. Or maybe we see a really nice Monday and a nasty Tuesday. Come down and scare everybody one more time. But, I mean, historically, shouldn't get much worse than what we've experienced. Unless we're going to see, and if we see a replica of this pattern up here, and this was the first dip, it's going to be evil and atrocious. But I really have trouble seeing that happen. I'm more than certain that we see recovery. This is a big shakeout, a big scare down, a big correction. It's something that happens. And then we went back up into the V and we never looked back until this nasty little bear area here. We just got to watch. If this holds and pushes up above the 2, maybe we just keep running and everything goes okay. But if this falls out of here, could see sideways action for some time. Up with a situation like this, similar to what we had over here. Let's hope not. But time will tell, right? So we have to take it level for level. The last time I shared a dollar chart was back here. I said we were looking for it to dump. I mean, it has come down quite a lot. The question is it finished? Good cycle, bad cycle, good cycle, bad cycle, good cycle. Let's hope it breaks up out of here and just runs into the 80s magic. This is 1980, so there is a lot of data in this. But again, we're watching for this to break down. If this breaks down, do we see the DXY struggle for a little while? Not much has changed on gold. Looking for a pattern to form here. But gold's just a monster all on its own. Patterns don't really apply on small time frames. The trend is usually up on the big ones indefinitely. It will be interesting to see what happens when gold does pull back. I have a feeling that if gold is going to pull back here somewhere, probably nothing too crazy because it's gold. But I'm wondering if we see the last time that happened, money flowed heavily into alts and Bitcoin. The Bitcoin market benefited greatly from. Not much happening so far this morning. Pretty boring in this range. But we are waiting for Bitcoin to let us know what the alts are going to do. So we always have to be watching Bitcoin, be watching Bitcoin dominance. We is another one that did amazing. Our ideas. Again, it's hard to say at this point how long this will last. I mean, we can get the ideas of double bottoms and maybe some divergences in places. I don't see any down here really. But we can get ideas for the bottoms to go up, but it gets kind of hard to make entries up here. Again, the first thing that I said to the group this morning was today is take profit day, not a make entry day. Get it backwards, it's going to hurt. Looking at this last video as well, we're looking at this triangle. Since we've been on it, it definitely broke out of there and had a bit of a run. The majority of the alts that we've been sharing in the group, I mean, I try not to overshare because obviously a lot of these coins look the same and they all run together. But a majority of the things that were actually shared are running very well, excluding one or two things that they're up and they're running, but they're not running as fast. So had target ideas for Link, first target ideas. They've reached that point. Ethereum did the same thing. This thing blew through first target ideas. Shiba, we're always trading Shiba. I think we were talking about how we had closed the short last video on the idea that this was just looking bullish. Now I didn't enter in down here. I got in somewhere up here. I didn't actually nail that bottom entry. I got out of the position and then I didn't quite catch this because I was doing stuff with the group. Shiba is something that I trade often, so. But everything has been making a very nice run. Really nice to see alts make the moves. Doesn't mean it's time for alts to run. We had a very nice pullback on dominance. Last video, we were talking a lot about the dominance chart, how high it's getting, and what could happen if we see it pull back. We see it peak out and pull back like it might have, like it did 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not certain that we're at those levels just yet, where that's going to immediately happen, but we are definitely watching for things to turn in the altcoins' favor as we gradually get up higher and higher in these. And at some point, this has to fall through and give us exactly what we're looking for. We just have to be patient I was thinking about doing a bit of trading today. I have it set up to do so, but I'm not going to trade something that isn't. If we see movement in either direction, I would probably consider an entry. Right now, there's nothing to do here but lose all your money. I'm going to go do a coffee fill. I will be back momentarily. All right, I'm back. If you're here, thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're having a wonderful Friday afternoon. Again, we just came on today to go over a couple of ideas, look at the charts again before the weekend hits. Not expecting too much to happen over the course of, but it can happen. This is crypto.
This is crypto.
So we got to be prepared for anything and everything. So that's why it's nice to go over things before the weekend comes and everybody can get a good idea of what we might see. Again, what I did want to do today while we're on here, going to open up a fresh Bitcoin chart, and we're just going to go over some higher time frame ideas together. So, what I will do if I'm going to start something, start out in a higher time frame. By the way, let's just appreciate 3-month chart on Bitcoin. Take a second to appreciate that. Okay. So I'll go into something like the 3-day, say. I'm going to get these local ideas of just support and resistance, just the big ones for the area that we're in. Then I will zoom in a little to maybe the daily. And let's break down the this is the pattern that helped us decide that Bitcoin was ready to leave this range and go down. This is the exact pattern that I gave out and shared. If you back reference the X account, it was given to everybody publicly on the X account as had this idea. We saw the bearish retest on this idea, and then everybody reacted. Okay, so the next idea that we got over time was this falling wedge idea. And we came out online publicly, shared it with everybody. I put a giant green circle down here. I don't know if I put it in the exact spot, but there was a giant green circle down here. And again, you can go cross-reference this. It's all on social media. I had a giant green circle down here as your buy zone. And then we make a beautiful run. If this thing crosses, my goodness, we could get that $120,000 Bitcoin that everybody keeps talking about. If we don't push up over and close above this 106 area, that could be the last hurrah for now. And it could turn into some other type of a pattern forming here. Not saying that this line is anything right now. We could turn into some bigger, more long drawn out sideways pattern, which would not be the end of the world because that would give us all the juice. Now, again, I'm not saying that that's happening. That is a situation that could happen. What we do is we take it level by level. We saw this pattern. We had an idea that if we broke below it, we were looking at a bearish retest and a run down. Saw this pattern. We had an entry idea. We came down to our level. We got bullish divergence. We got 3/4 of the way into money flow in the red. It just, it was a perfect looking trade at that point. But right now, you're either firing shot at a very risky short or at a very risky long. So it's nice to wait for more data to show up at this point. It's the same with all of the altcoins that we've been looking at in the group. Somebody asking me right now in the group even, oh, hey, what's good right now? I'm going to say everything's up right now. We were looking at things and they were good last month. Now everything's really high up. So you're either taking profits on the levels we were looking at, or you're going to wait for some type of a pullback. Because, the last thing you want to do is be making your first entries on stuff way up here. Doing stuff like that, you're looking for bullish patterns to do it on. And you're setting stop losses tight because you don't want to get stuck riding back down. Bitcoin is one thing. Getting stuck riding an alt back down because you decided to buy the top of something is insane. If you're a breakout trader and you thought, oh my goodness, look at this, it broke out. I'm gonna buy this breakout trade. You might get your money back. Definitely could go higher here, but you kind of shot yourself in the foot for a while by being a breakout trader. So if you're gonna breakout trade, it's tight stops always. Right now, nobody in my group is being told to go buy this and go buy that today. We were looking at levels and I was sharing charts when things were low. I gave this falling wedge out on Trump. We gave this stuff out when it was low and consolidating and boring and no one was paying attention. Because that's when you want to buy cryptocurrency. everything was in these patterns. We talked about it. And there are still things that have not broken out of these patterns yet. But I mean, a lot of these things were in these falling wedges, consolidating. Again, you have accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. It never changes. Your plan should just never change. Unless your plan is entering up here, confidently entering up here without a tight stop loss. Now, if you see a pullback, see this level hold, we see some type of a pattern form here. That's beautiful. You see a falling wedge, maybe this happens, and you get some type of and you get like a nice triangle pattern. Maybe, hopefully not that big, and hopefully not that boring. But I mean, maybe you get something like this. Then you're looking to get back in for the next level. You weren't in here. Get this. You're certainly not entering here to get this. You're waiting until this proves to you that's an option, and then you make your. If you just go throwing money at the markets like this with no patterns, my personal experience, you're probably going to get wrecked a lot more. I don't know how much nicer altcoins get at the. I mean, yeah, when you're buying down here, you're going to have to deal with that super volatility. You buy something and it rolls down to $2 and it scares you to death. But the idea is that it's going to 17. Shouldn't be too worried about that, right? Could be due some type of a squeeze. Not saying it's due to go to all-time highs, but you could definitely see some type of a squeeze here. This is looking great. Maybe this might not be the time that it breaks up and runs. Maybe you get a run up and a pull back again. But, again, this is something that turning into one of the long, drawn out things. We've just watched a lot of these make that run. Of course, this is a 3-day time frame. This is a much bigger time frame, but we're looking at the patterns, right? So if you're looking at this pattern on the 10-minute time frame and it plays out, you're going to have to take your profits based on the 10-minute time frame. If you're looking at this on a 3-day or a weekly idea, you're going to see a much bigger run. It's going to take a much bigger time. It's going to take a lot longer to happen. One of these candles represents 3 days compared to 10 or 15. So you have to take that into account. Altcoins look insane right now, all across the board. Not financial advice. I've been trading DOT. Did a trade on DOT. I don't know if it went to the. I traded DOT. The past 2 times that this happened, I scored a trade in. I never nailed the bottom of it. Never nailed the top of it, but both times that I saw a dot pushing from these lower levels, I made entries and got a nice trade. Can't see this time being any different. Unless Bitcoin and all alts are going to zero, and we have other problems. Again, if you were to break this chart down, when do you want to buy? Massive range down here with 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe the fifth hold here. This is your upper area. You've got two choices. You make your entries down here, you scale in while it's low, and you wait patiently. Or you set an alarm up here, and you wait for it to break out and do a retest. Basically, you got two buy areas. You got one buy area across the bottom of this. And then your other buy area is going to be up in this area on the breakout and the retest. Now, taking the chance of buying down here, getting a run to the top of that pattern is 182%. Copy and paste that. Or at least maybe we'll just clone it even. Take that same, and let's buy the breakout and score that trade. Okay, so option 1 might take a little longer to play out because you are going to do some type of consolidation down here. Every time this has happened, consolidated for quite a while. And it's consolidated for quite a while into this space. You need to be mindful about stuff like that. If you're just entering this space, you need to realize that things go up and they come down very fast. Elevator up, stairs down. Elevator up, stairs down. So catch yourself up here. You're probably still going to see your trade come around unless you bought a total dud coin. But the problem is you've just locked yourself out of profitable trades for however long. Or here's another way to look at that. If you were only throwing 1 or 2% of your account at these trades, would you rather throw 1 or 2% of your account up here on the idea that it's going to break through and have it roll back over? Or would you rather throw 1 or 2% of your account down here, be eligible for over twice the run, and be confident that you're closer to these lower levels? Now is the time to be paying attention. Now is the time to be making your plans. Now is the time to be looking at these patterns on the higher time frames and then going into the smaller ones and trying to lock in your entry. Don't want to be the person that doesn't pay attention for the next couple of months and ends up seeing a run like this happen. And you come back and you see that this target's hit and you think that it is going to go on forever, so you buy. Because then you're the guy that just bought the top of the next pullback on the next big pattern that happens. You don't want to be that guy or gal. You just don't. Not much. Yeah, see, I mean, this is just crazy sideways action. Do they even give us a move before the weekend starts? Maybe everybody's already started their weekend. Consider that. That's what we're watching for. Bitcoin rules all, always, but alts are looking good. In order for that to happen, we need Bitcoin to cooperate. Somewhere here. So we did hit the bottom of a small idea. Guess we weren't paying attention. Remember, we said I would only be willing to make a trade if we went up to there or down to here. I guess we should have been paying attention. There's obviously a little bit of volume coming in. It doesn't mean anything. Small time frame. This could linger for the rest of the day. It probably will. This is the current pattern that I'm looking at. My next decision comes when Bitcoin makes a choice where it wants to go here. Now, this morning, the idea was we were pinching in here, and we were either going to break out of the top or get rejected and break down. So that's happened. Our next idea then is going to be over here. What that could involve is possibly a bearish retest on this larger idea. We come out of here, and then we bounce up, do a bearish retest. Or the idea is we could also come down here, maybe test this area of support resistance before progressing up. So right now, we take this level into account. We watch for this pattern to break, and then we choose where it might be able to break from there. Once it breaks, then we check the next pattern and our decision based. You should already know a lot about trading or actively trading in time frames, so that shouldn't matter. If you don't know anything about what I'm talking about or what I'm saying, keep watching people, keep learning. Don't throw a bunch of money in just yet. Find a paper trading account, paper trade stuff. You can go on to the 1 minute time frames even and use TradingView and just pretend trade on the 1 minute time frame. Just check patterns, see them play out over and over. That'll help build confidence. You'll notice that a lot of these patterns that you see on the 1 and 2 minute time frame, it's the same pattern on the daily and the weekly, but you're getting much bigger results. 13 green candles on the daily is a lot more valuable than 13 green candles on the time frame. But you have to trade accordingly to your plan and your risk management. There is a lot to be learned by going into those small time frames and just watching. Don't do it with real money. Practice. This market is here for one thing. Take all of your money. Only the patient ones, calculated ones, walk out of this. If anything. Interesting repeated pattern here. We've got the big reversal curve into the falling wedge. Up through all-time high. Now we have the same pattern happening, the miniature version of it. Would be pretty hard pressed. I mean, maybe we get that. This would give everybody what they want. If price pushed up to this line that I have right here, that gives everyone their $120 or $120,000 Bitcoin. then things can cool off. Well, I mean, things are going to have to pull back. That'll be the one final scare for alts. I'll get what. But I do see this idea holding coin. Probably one of the weirdest charts I've ever laid eyes on. My opinion, lines are going to be very valid down the road. We don't see it right now. We don't take these big drops into the 60 areas. But once we get up to the 100 areas, then maybe we see that happen. But I do see us at some point here, we're gonna have your typical big pullback. Haven't seen one in a while. Where's our 78% Bitcoin pullback? Because that was not it. We get to 120. What does it look like then? No one's going to like this. Let's hope that doesn't happen. Hey.
This is crypto.
Crazier things have been known to happen in this market. I will never forget. Back here, I was running the group very successfully. We were doing great. I think at one point I had up to like 40, 45 members in. Everybody was booming. Everybody was making money on all these trade setups. Everybody was happy. Came in one day and I stop. It's all over. Game is done. Sell everything you have. Bitcoin's going back to $13,000. Over half of the people in my trading group left the trading group. They paid members immediately sent me a giant speech about how ridiculous I was, left the group. A few months later, they were proved absolutely right because I miscalculated by about $2,000. So they're right. I was completely ridiculous. But that's what this market will do time and time again. But don't think it won't do it. I hope it doesn't. I hope everybody's right. $100,000 seemed insane when we were trying to break $20,000. So all the people out there screaming that they want to see $250,000 Bitcoin can't even argue at this point. I'm certainly not going to hold my breath and hold anything and ride anything to that expectation. But I mean, anything's possible. Second bounce here on the idea, so maybe this valid. Somewhere along here. Again, especially in the small time frames, you kind of have to be willing to move things as data comes in. I mean, if you're on a bigger time frame and you draw out a triangle, you're going to want to wait for the candle to close above that idea and not move your. But if you're down here in the small time frames and you're trying to make patterns based on things that are happening that fast, you're going to have to be willing to move that fast. You can't get stuck on an idea in a small time frame. Things are changing very quickly. Tell you what, we'll stick it out and we will see what Bitcoin is going to do here. I'm going to do a couple of things on Discord and in the group, but I will leave this going for a little while. Jumps in, has any questions or anything that they would like to see a chart for, feel free to ask. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Again, I'm going to stay on here for a little while. I'm going to go and handle a couple of things All right, while I'm right here, if anybody's here, let's take a look at this real quick, okay? So this was something that we were looking at. Dot, obviously, I was just showing this chart, but I want to kind of break this idea down. First, you're going to get this big falling wedge. It's going to look amazing. Like when it breaks out and retest, it's going to space and never coming back. But what usually will happen is at that point, you'll find this other pattern that will kind of pull over and go sideways out of that. And that, in my opinion, is the pattern that you're looking to. So this is not the double bottom always that you're looking to buy when it's on this kind of an angle. You really want it to be on a long, drawn out kind of an angle, because when they're on the big steep angles, what happens is they come out and they enter these other pattern ideas. So what you're wanting to make your entries on is not anything. I mean, you know, if you're in the 1 minute time frame and you're trading, you already know what you're doing. You don't need me to tell you this. But if you're looking and you don't know what's going on, you don't want to be trading this. You don't want to be making entries anywhere in here. This is just insanity. When you see a level holding continuously and you see a pattern form, you see a break of that pattern in the direction that runs to your favor, that's when your radar goes off. Okay, we're now breaking out of this pattern in the upward direction. Then you get the cross. So, I mean, even if you didn't get in here or here or here, then you get the breakout of this level and a retest of somewhere on this level. Maybe it didn't work perfectly. Obviously, it retested a little lower over here. So at no point is any of this entry. None of this. None of this is entry. Scaling into this idea on the bottoms or waiting for this to happen is entry. Or a pullback that's bullish could be entry. I'm sure that that's a bullish pattern. If you look at it, I am sure that there's a couple of triangles in there, a little bull pennants in there if you look at them as well. So this was no rush. This is now pushing out of here, and you're starting to see things move. Volume could be coming in here. So now it's time to watch. Not when it's going up like crazy, not when it's going down like crazy, but when it's spent the past month, 2 months sitting there and doing nothing. That's when people are scaling in. That's when people are dollar cost averaging in. People are watching for these patterns to break. We were just looking at Filecoin. It's the exact same thing, right? Paying attention to when you should be buying, when you should be selling, and when you should be just watching changes everything in the market. Nobody wants to buy anything after this coin is way up here and get stuck in it for a year just to have it run up and not go to the same level again. And again, all the way until you get bored and can't wait because it's been 4 years for it to finally make the move. So you need to be calculating your moves, paying attention to technical analysis. The previous price action. Anything you're buying, I mean, there's a couple of things on this list here. And obviously people will buy newer projects because they're excited about it or they think it has potential in the future. But me personally, if I don't have a chart for it, I am not. I'm a trader though. The only thing I believe is 20 years is Bitcoin. All of these other projects, there was only one VCR, only one DVD player. All the other brands that tried to do it became obsolete, even if people invested in them back in the got phased out. This is a little different. You're going to see some things survive. If there's a popular video game out there and it's got a game token, sure, that token will survive. Or if there's something that's doing successful and it's been implemented into the real world properly, I'm sure it will do well. But for the most part, most of this stuff is going to continuously come back down to nothing land. Even if you see a project go up and hit that all-time high, break through it and hold it, that might have just been the run that you were going to get for the entire life of that coin. So you have to consider that. We've seen lots of stuff, especially like in the DeFi era, a lot of DeFi stuff. It took old price action and made it a flat line, and it never returned. But now, since then, it hasn't gone anywhere. Speaking of which, there's a lot of DeFi coins that look pretty incredible right now. But I also am going to watch what I show. I'm not showing too much. That's not very fair to the people that pay me for charts and my time. So if you do want to see anything else in detail, I do show a little more on the Sunday live Discords. They're free for anybody that's in the Discord. You want to come and join us on Sunday afternoon around 3 o'clock in standard time. We'll go in and we'll break down some of these setups and these ideas. I'm a lot better at trading than I am at running Discord. Or not Discord, OBS, sorry. I'm a lot better at trading than I am at running OBS. So bear with me if I don't do something properly on OBS. Bound to happen. I guess that's what it's like to feel old and faded out, eh? And I can trade things that other people can't understand, but I can't run a program that somebody half my age is probably really, really time and effort. Here's another one of those. Another little gem that I probably shouldn't share, but I will. As I say, I'm not going to do that, and then I share more. This was the last bull run that actually happened. So any of these coins that have been coming out and having big runs, and then people have been saying, "Oh, altcoins, it's alt season." No, we have not had an alt season in a long, long time. But what it will look like is this hitting all-time highs. I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not a financial advisor. But that's what alt season will look like. And I know that sounds completely insane, but I said the same thing last time we had a real alt season, and then things started doing 10,000%. I'm not saying that this is going to do it. There are coins that will. There are things that will do that. Make no mistakes, if you enter something down here and you get that candle and you don't hit sell, you will never forgive yourself. So please, if we see a real bull run like we have not seen in 5 to 6 years, don't get all squirrelish about it. Get all scatterbrained. Stick to your plans and money. Or somebody else is going to, I promise. So back in like 2019, 2020, I was sharing all these charts and all these ideas, and all this stuff was coming out. And back then it was a big deal because on the daily time frame, we were seeing things inch. We were seeing Bitcoin right where we wanted it and dominance right where we wanted it. Everything was looking great. And then everything exploded. Everything. And then it all went back to normal. Except for, let's say 6 projects flatlined in price, held their new number, and actually started printing a pattern in that area. 5 or 6 DeFi coins actually pulled that off. The rest of them all rolled over and went back to zero, or went back to entry or lower. So those are your odds. A majority of them will run. A small handful of them will hold even close to the price they ran to. So you have to that's what you have to pay attention to. Again, anyone that has showed up for the live, thank you so much for the support. And anyone that might be watching this after, and I hope you do, because there is some gem quality stuff in here. I am not excessively talking about it, because if you don't know enough about trading to look at some of these patterns and know exactly what they say, it is not my place on YouTube to tell you what to do. If that's you, again, the link is there for the free Discord. Hop in and just come hang out with us for a month in the free Discord. I don't share a lot in the free side. It's more about the Sunday session and getting people into the idea of how I trade, because I trade a little differently than some people might trade, just like everybody else does. So it's just a way for people to get used to the way that I do things compared to the way that other people do things. And there's some pretty cool people in there that come in every morning, and they'll share some ideas. And I mean, the free side isn't empty, that's for sure, but it's not as active as the paid side. But I mean, I don't think I have to overanalyze this, guys. And 10 points for anybody that can tell me the pattern that I'm about to grab and draw on this. Yes? Did you get 10 points? Okay. Same thing. We're looking to run up to this top area. Clone that. Go down. Somewhere here. You have like your, I'm happy with that, and then I'm ecstatic with that target. And then you have the, oh my goodness, this is bullish, broke out of here. Now we're looking at a retest and a run. But again, we can't know that. What we do know is that these patterns often lead to, and if you're noticing this, you'll notice that this is running completely the same as what I was explaining with the other ones. You get, aside from here, I mean, this was such a big fall that when it had a bounce, it had a really fast one. But typically, once you get to the bottom, something forms there. Something forms for you to make your decision on. So there's no reason to rush. There is zero reason for you to rush into this, or this, or this. You're waiting for that reversal idea to start taking effect. Until you start seeing that reversal idea come into effect, there's no point in trading it. Unless you're jumping on the bandwagon, and you're going to run with the shorts. But I mean, as you get down into these levels, it's a little more scary to short. But again, it's the same thing that we're talking about, and different time frames are going to have, they're going to have the exact same formations, but it's going to happen faster or slower. We have the same thing here. We've got like we've got this markdown, not much accumulation because it needed a big bounce, but then we got markdown, accumulation, markup, markdown, accumulation, markup. It's a continuous back and forth, back and forth. That cycle's always running. So let's look at the bigger picture. What phase in the cycle are we at? Accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown. This has been an obscenely large accumulation phase for all alts. Whales' bags are full right now. Whales are running out of money to spend on crypto. Can you believe that? Bitcoin's not going to be able to pump very much at this point. It's going to be maxed out because whales are running out of money because they have so much. They have been buying altcoins the past year, just buying the dip on stuff like that. Their bags are loaded. The price hits these targets, they will unload. And then they'll come online and tell you that you should breakout trade this target. Because, oh my goodness, look at guys. It could run 17%. You get that breakout trade. They lie. Their boots are full. Whales are swimming in cryptocurrency right now. Promise. All right, moving on. You get the point. All right, yeah, I'm not going to drag it out. Again, if you want to carry on with any of this and you have any questions, if you join the free Discord, I'm happy to chat. So we'll leave it at that. I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. Don't overtrade, don't undertrade, trade just right. Do what you need to get where you want to be, and keep pushing. Everyone will give up on you, but you. Get through the weekend, get through everything you're going through. If you've got people around, go enjoy them, enjoy their time. Don't get too caught up in Bitcoin over the weekend. Again, this is what I'm looking at right now, watching this little triangle pattern, and we're watching to see if we're going to break down a level or up a level. And we're looking at a possible bearish retest, some downward action, or Bitcoin in true form will drop down to this level, make you think it's going down, and then it will go right back up inside of this, and then it will break up, push to all-time highs on Saturday while everyone's having a barbecue and is paying attention. Okay. Enjoy the weekend, guys. Thanks again.